chance to see Michigan State play much on TV this year?
A decent amount. Yeah, they're deep. They're obviously a very good team. They're having a great year. They're on a great run right now, and they just come at you in waves, and they're physical and they're tough, and we got to be able to match that. And I'm hoping we get a good home crowd behind us, and a lot of energy in the building, and I think it's a great opportunity for us, to go out with something special, and I think we're really excited for the opportunity.
What's it going to be like one last time playing in Carver?
It's pretty special. Being a kid from the state and having one chance to just one more game to kind of do this thing, through all the ups and the downs, and how tough this year has been. Just one last chance. I think there's a lot of people that kind of grow up dreaming about maybe just one chance to play a Division I basketball game, one chance to do something special, and it feels like this is kind of our one chance to just go out there and have fun. There's at the end of the day, it's just a basketball game, and it's gonna be special walking out there and getting to play Michigan State, a storied program and a top 10 team in your home building, and kind of getting to swing at them one last time. I think it's gonna be quite an experience.
It's the last 4 years meant to you, especially the last two playing with your brother again.
Yeah, it's been special. There's been a lot of really, really tough days. There's been a lot of really, really good days. I think back to my first few days here, and even coming out of high school, all I really wanted was, nobody told me that, like, nobody was really giving me a chance to have a good or great career here at Iowa. I was kind of under recruited. I came out of COVID, and I was really just coming out of high school hoping that I could make an impact on this program. You always want to try to leave the jersey in a better place than you left it, and I felt like I did that in high school, but to me it felt like none of it mattered unless I came to college and was able to prove myself. So if I look back on my career, and if I would have told my 18-year-old self that this is what it was going to be like, I think he'd be pretty ecstatic. And the way that I've been able to develop, and especially all other areas of my game outside of shooting, I've just taken such great strides, and being able to be a guy that's on the top of the scouting report and win all these big games and compete. I remember watching Weezy and Luka play against Illinois when I came here, just on my first recruiting visit here, and I was like, man, this is like, will I ever be able to play at this level and do this? And now going through the years, winning a Big Ten championship and winning sixth man of the year and being a part of a couple NCAA tournament teams, and and then after that, bringing in my brother, having him be here with me, and just getting the chance to kind of live out my dream and do so many great things. Right now it kind of feels like a lot of that's being overshadowed by kind of the circumstances of this season, and this isn't really the season that I've really wanted to be defined by, but in a way this is kind of like the person that I am, and kind of what I want to be defined by. When times were the toughest and when things weren't going well, I stayed true to my character. I kept fighting, and when I had every out possible, I could have called it in January, I could have called it in November, I could have backed out, could have backed down, but I never did. And I think that's what I'm most proud of myself for, because it hasn't been easy, and there's been a lot of bumps and bruises and a lot of tough days, and a lot of people quitting on us, got death threats. I've got all sorts of stuff this year, but I never quit. And it hasn't been easy, but I think of all the years, I think this might be the year I'm the most proud of myself.
Death threats? Not to laugh, but
Yeah.
social media, or?
Yeah, it's been, I eventually I've tried to basically lose my phone for a while, but but it was tough, and it affects you, and you're just playing a game, you just want to be a kid, and that stuff can bother you, and it got under my skin a little bit, but I'm really, really thankful for people I have around me, starting with my parents. They've been with me every step of the way, and they've been supporting me, and they've been they've been at every game this year, which they're like, it's such a cool thing to have them there, watching me and Price, and even when we're losing, they're there giving us hugs after the games, and they're talking to me and just keeping me afloat, when things have been really tough. But it's the coaches, my teammates, I love all those guys, and it hasn't been the best year, but there's been so many good things, and 5 years down the line, when I look back on this, I'm going to be so proud of what we did accomplish.
Bryce seems like he's found another gear, maybe how to make the most out of limited minutes off the bench. What have you seen click for him in the last 6 weeks?
I just think that he knows he can do this now, and he's established himself in this league as a threat and a really good player, and he's doing a lot of things. He's rebounding really well. He's making shots. He's getting to the rim, and that's his game. And I'm really excited to watch him down the line, and even these last few games, and just seeing how he can progress. And he's got such a bright future, and I hope he ends up a better player than I am. That's always been my goal as an older brother, is just to see him flourish, and he's got all the opportunity and all the weapons to do that.
And when you're an emotional player, sometimes it's easy to lack perspective, but it seems like you've really thought about just kind of your career and over the course of the season, I guess. How are you able to kind of balance being emotional but also kind of understanding there is going to be a bigger picture to all of this?
Yeah, well, not well. There's been a lot of really tough nights, and it sucks. Like, this season is just, it hasn't been what I dreamed of. When I made the decision in May to come back to school, you have all these goals and these dreams, and you picture what it's going to look like, and things have gotten in the way of that. Things haven't turned out the way they are, but I think my perspective just comes from the people in my family. They talk about their experiences, and I've talked to a lot of other players about their experiences and kind of what they remember. And it's hard when you're going through it to think about the down the road you're gonna have all these great memories of this place and all the relationships, but while you're in it, it just sucks. But there's been a lot of tough games, a lot of tough nights, but there's so many good people around this program and around me that they've really kept me afloat, and just keep pushing and keep fighting. And we still got a few games left to just keep fighting, and it's exactly what we're gonna do.
How was Fran handled it? He seems like he's always just next goal.
Yeah, he never looks back at the past. We'll watch the last game, but then we'll just turn the page and maybe try to change a few things. Maybe try to implement a new strategy. But at the end of the day, he's just on to the next. He's been in this league for a long time, and that's kind of what you have to do. The games just keep coming at you, so it's not easy to you look at the schedule, you don't see many wins. Sometimes you have to go out there and earn them, and he knows that, and he just keeps on churning.
You got to know Coach McCaffrey more. How's your relationship with him evolved?
At first, you see him on TV when I'm growing up, and I was a little intimidated by him, when he started recruiting me. But now, he's a really good dude. He gets he gets kind of a bad rap because of, his antics on TV. But all that is just, caring for us and, wanting the best for his players. And, that's what I've noticed, throughout the last 4 years, is just how much he really does care about us and wants to protect us. And, he does everything that he can to be almost like a father figure to us and just take care of us. And, I know this year probably hasn't been easy on him, but, it's never really shown in the way that he approaches things. And, I'll always appreciate him for that.
Some fans are mad that he's not getting upset like he used to. They want him to show that emotion. What are your thoughts on that? Because when he was doing that, fans were like, "Oh, this is an embarrassment to me." He can't win, it seems like, in this situation.
Well, I feel like, you can't ever win in today's age with anything you do. It's kind of what it seems like. There's always going to be the criticism, but, he's a good coach, and, I love him to death, and he does a good job of just kind of blocking all that stuff out, which, can be hard to do, but I guess it's pretty hard to make anybody happy, and I mean, people have their reasons. I've been an upset sports fan before too, so I get it. But it can be tough, and just know that I'm sure we care a lot more about this than pretty much everybody else.
Payton, you mentioned couple more questions. You mentioned that right there, and I think, well, to be frank, I think fans very easily lose perspective of this season and just how hard it's been. I guess you mentioned getting those messages on social media. Like, how hard has this been for you?
It hasn't been easy. Like I said, when I made the decision to come back in May, I did it, I did it for myself, but I did it for, this program. I love this program, and, I wanted to do so many great things, and I felt like, there were still things that we hadn't accomplished. And, I worked as hard as I ever have. I've never worked as hard as I did this off season, from the day that Utah game ended in the NIT till, you know, up to the season. And, you know, the off season was tough because I was dealing with some pretty bad injuries and fighting through it and wasn't able to really get a rhythm. And then, you know, when one injury ended, you know, the next one kind of came, you know, early in that Washington State game. I, you know, got hurt pretty bad and kept playing through it, but wasn't myself and lost rhythm and wasn't able to do the things that I normally do to keep rhythm, you know, getting shots up outside of practice and working on game reps. So it was kind of a new experience. You know, I struggled personally for a while, but, you know, there's been a lot of good moments. But, you know, it's hard to see those good moments when you're going through a stretch like we're in right now. It's just, you know, it feels like it's never ending. It feels like there's kind of like a black cloud hanging over you whenever you walk around anywhere, and you want it to end. You do everything you can. You try to figure out what's going on, but you know, at the end of the day, some things are just the way they are, and you know, you just keep fighting and trying to, you know, that's really all you can do is just keep fighting and, you know, try to find ways to win. And if it doesn't work out, you got to move on. But I can't imagine there's many people who hate losing more than I do, and I pretty much beat myself up from the minute it ends till the time the next game begins, and that comes with added pressure. And you know, I think my pursuit of, you know, being as good as I can has paralyzed me at times, and it's kind of affected my play. You know, especially just a little bit recently, and you know, I'm trying to work through that. I've worked through that before, and you know, you want it to end, and when it does end, you know, you get on the other side of it and you have perspective of what it was, and you know that you went through it for a reason, and you know, my faith has kept me strong in that. And you know, every stretch I've had in my career, you know, whether it was in middle school or high school or in college, you know, I look back and I'm so thankful that I went through it because it's made me who I am today. And you know, this is going to be another one. You know, and I have the, you know, utmost faith in you know, my Creator and my Savior, and even in myself, that you know, that my career is going to work out, and that, you know, all this is just preparing me for down the road. And you know, the same goes for my teammates. I know that they'll all, you know, benefit from this. You know, you learn a lot about your character and yourself through failures, and you know, I've learned a lot about myself for sure.
You mentioned
Last one.
reading some Bible verses when you had the big second half against Nebraska. You mentioned your faith last one. You mentioned your faith a couple of different times this year. Are there any verses that you feel like particularly describe or that you go to time and time again, and how does your faith kind of help you through the season?
Yeah, there's been you know, there's been a lot of people that have helped me in my faith journey throughout the last 4 years. We have a thing called Athletes in Action here at the university, and we have Tim Spark and Jim Goodrich, who have, you know, we do Bible studies all the time, and they're sending me stuff before and after games, you know, just giving me perspective. And you know, that's kind of, you know, what I've had to realize is, you know, the victory is already won, and just to live in that. And you know, there's Bible verses I go to, Philippians 4:6 I have on my phone that, you know, I'll look at halftime of road games and stuff. And you know, there's that kind of frees you up, and you know, there's a much bigger purpose. Like, this is just a game. You know, my grandpa used to say that, and you know, my dad always says that, and you know, that's why, you know, finding the fun in it again is, you know, when I'm at my best. And you know, that's what I just need to realize.
All right, thanks,
All right,
Mitch.
thanks, guys.
I'm gonna have Drew here quick.